I am an advocate for liberty. I am an advocate for gun rights. However, I made this video to call for a restriction on what people can do with guns. Why? Why would a person advocating for liberty and gun rights call for a restriction? In a world where our rights are being under constant attack, it might be counterintuitive. However, think for a moment, if we achieved our goal of having an armed society, what would it look like? Would it be a society completely without any rules or laws? I want an armed society, however, armed society cannot work if it has no rules. You cannot just threaten people in the streets for no reason, then say it is a part of your constitutional right to open carry. Of course, in an armed society, a person merely having a gun should not be construed as a threat. And that person should be allowed to carry that gun in a reasonable degree of preparedness for use in self-defense. However, there still should be a rule in regards to what to do or what not to do for that person to be not considered a threat to other people. So let me get to the point. This should not be allowed. Let's say you are in a convenience store and you see me walking in. You do not know who I am, you do not know what my intentions are. But let's hypothetically say I walked in with a pistol in ready posture or ready position. You do not see a police uniform or any badge. You do not see any reason why anyone would have a reason to have a pistol drawn at ready posture. Let's assume I did not identify myself. I just walk behind you and say, I'm just getting in line to buy something. What would your response be? I think it would be reasonable for you to think that your security is threatened. I think it may be reasonable for you to draw your gun if you are concealed carrying a pistol too. So, can we agree that walking around with a pistol in ready posture for no reason should be considered a threat? I think we should. The society appears to agree on that for the most part. However, there is something very irrational, absurd, strange, and dangerous going on. If it is unacceptable to walk around with a pistol in ready posture for no reason, then why does the same rule not apply to long guns? This is a photograph of people apparently doing some sort of protest. Why is this allowed? I do not care which side of the political faction does it. If walking around with a pistol in ready posture, being ready to raise it and shoot it at any moment should not be allowed, why is it allowed when it comes to rifle or shotguns? The absolute majority of people carrying guns for self-defense are carrying pistols. For people lawfully concealed carrying a pistol, any thug who claims to open carry a rifle in ready posture would have an absolute advantage. Anyone around that person holding a rifle in ready posture is at the mercy of that person whose identity or intent is unknowable. Rules of armed society should not create this situation. It is not consistent with liberty. So here are the rules of armed society I propose. Rules of armed society prohibits having a gun in ready posture without it being in immediate use for self-defense or other legitimate reasons, generally speaking. This should carry a criminal penalty when it causes security concerns for others. This may be the case with some states in the United States with brandishing laws. However, the way this applies to open carrying a long gun in some other states are just plain weird. Anyone seeing a person having a gun in ready posture without any apparent legitimate reason justifies person seeing it to draw their own gun and be in ready posture in self-defense. In simple terms, this means I should be justified in drawing my pistol if I see someone with a rifle in ready posture. Open carry of long guns should cover those guns slung on the back or in some manner not in a posture for immediate firing. This is a fighting posture, but I do not see anyone attacking them, so who are they fighting against? Who is the target of their aggression? This should not be a way to behave. I have even encountered news about a security guard behaving in this manner. That should also be unacceptable, especially considering incidents that I am aware of where a criminal was dressed as a security guard. Even police departments have policies governing when their officers can draw their gun. Armed society cannot work without a protocol on how to behave with a gun. That helps to establish what behavior does or does not constitute a threat and what is reasonable in response. We as advocates of gun rights should make it clear that being at the mercy of anyone with a gun in hand walking around is not what we are advocating. I do not claim to have all the answers on how to construct a protocol for an entire society. However, for this armed society that we are pursuing to work, the conversation needs to start. I hope this was useful. See you on the next one.